Hi, this is Aharon Dubinsky coming to you today from the Chut Shel Chesed Yeshiva in the holy city of Yerushalayim in the exceptional state of Israel under the direction of our beloved rabbi and spiritual guide, Rabbi Shalom Arush. May Hashem bless him always. I want to start today with a little story. You'll see why later. It seems that there was this master of teaching of spirituality who existed. He had thousands and thousands of visitors who tried to come to him, but he wouldn't see them, because if he tried to see them, he had no time to study on his own. But he had many, many people who hung on his every word, everything he wrote, everything he said. They ran their lives by that. Each one of them had the desire to meet with him, and as it happened, one day, one of his young students got permission to actually meet with this master. So the master invites him into his house, asks him to have a seat, and before he can say a word, this young student started talking about what he knew, what he learned, where he went, what he said, who he spoke to, what they said back to him, and he kept going on and on and on. And to the master's credit, he put up with it for a great deal of time. Finally, he said, "Excuse me, would you like a cup of tea?" And the young student said, "That would be very nice, thank you so much." So the master left, came back with a teapot and a cup and a saucer. He handed the cup and saucer to his student, who didn't miss a beat during this whole time. He still kept going on and on and on. So the master starts pouring the tea into the teacup, and the tea comes rising to the top of the cup. It overflows the cup. It overflows the saucer till the student goes, "What are you doing? What are you doing? It's getting all over me." And the master said to him, "You are like this teacup. You are so full of what you know and what you think and all the things in your life, you have no room to accept any other teachings." Now, why do I bring this story up to you? I'll tell you why I bring this story up to you. Because we have two very good examples. This last week in Lech Lecha and this week in Vayera. They're very good examples of what Hashem does and how he does it. Now, he says to Abraham, "Go for yourself from your land." Okay, well, I can go to a different land. From your birthplace. Oh, well, okay, I can go from my birthplace to my land, not a problem. From your father's house to the land that I will show you. What land will you show me? No, it doesn't say that. I said that. But you got to imagine that Abraham had to be thinking in his mind, if he was even semi-human, where are you taking me? You've asked me to make a big journey. And remember, in those days, you didn't hop on a plane, you didn't get on a train, you didn't take a Greyhound bus, you walked. At best, you rode a donkey or a camel. So anywhere you were going to go was a major trip. But Hashem, notice how specific he was. I want you to go from your birthplace, from your father's house, from your land, to a land that I will show you. Now, you have to admit, it takes a great deal of emunah to say, okay, I'll do that. But Abraham had a great deal of emunah. We should have the emunah that he had. Anyway, so Hashem was very specific about it, and where you're going. And now this week, when he goes to the Akedah, he tells Abraham, he said, "Please take your son." Notice he says, "Please." I thought that was nice. It's a nice touch. "Please take your son." Okay, I have two sons. You're only one. But I have two. Whom you love? Well, I love them both. Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah and give him as a sacrifice. Again, Hashem was being extremely specific, extremely poignant, telling him exactly what he wanted. Exactly what he wanted. Now, he could do that. Why can he do that? Because the creator of the universe. What does he not know? There's nothing he doesn't know. Does he know all the past? Sure he does. All the present? Sure. Future? You bet he does. He knows it all. Therefore, he's in a position to be extremely specific, exactly what he wants. And he says this. By the way, the story of Abraham goes on. I love this part of it because he gets to Canaan, and that's the land he's supposed to go to in the middle of the greatest famine they've ever had there. There's no food. Now, a lot of us would say, oh, thank you. Thank you for taking me to a land where there's no food. No, not Abraham. He said, thank you. Just thank you. Thank you for all you do for me. So, obviously, he couldn't stay there, so he moved on to a land where there was food. That was Egypt. And you know the rest of the story. For whatever reason, we don't need to go into it, but the fact of the matter is the king of Egypt gave him cattle, sheep, goats. It enumerates all these things. Camels, donkeys, silver and gold. It tells you all the things he got. So he went from being just poor Abraham to a very, very wealthy man in one day. Was it worth it, the fact that he traveled to Canaan, in spite of the fact that there was a famine there? You bet it was, because when he left Egypt, which wasn't that much later, he took all these things with him. So he was, for the rest of his life, set. He didn't know this. He didn't know what was going to happen. Do you suppose Hashem had an inkling as to what was going to happen? You bet he did. Of course he did. He wanted to go to Canaan to prove, that he had the emunah, and then he moved him on to Egypt, where he became wealthy for the rest of his life. But Hashem knows these things. Like, for example, right now there's a situation in America where there's thousands and thousands of immigrants moving up towards the border of America. And they don't really know what to do with them. But interestingly enough, there's a big hurricane, what they call it, Category 5. They don't get bigger. There is no Category 6. It's the biggest kind of hurricane, and it's on a direct path to stop these people. Apparently, if Hashem doesn't want them to get there, they're not going to get there. This is Hashem. This is how he works. Now let's talk about how we work. Do we know everything? No. Do we know the past? Sometimes, in a way that's been interpreted in a way that we remember it in our own mind. Do we know the present? Again, as we see it, and only as we see it, and we don't see everything. In the future, forget it, we haven't got a clue about the future. That's us. So how do we predict the future? How do we ask about the future? When we have a problem, when we have a parnasa problem, what do we say to Hashem? Give me some money, please. No, you don't know money is a solution to your problems. You don't know that your problem of not having money will lead you to something else that will give you what you need to produce more money than you could have ever imagined in your lifetime. Does Hashem know this? Of course he does. He knows all this. You don't know that. So for you to ask for money is foolhardy. You're assuming that your brain, with all of its limitations, knows everything and can make the best decision. I've always told people, why don't you talk to Hashem? It says that for every challenge you get in life, he has already created the solution. Why not go to the one that created the situation and ask him for guidance instead of asking me or even the Rav? We have an inkling to it, and we may even have a better idea of it than what you have. But we do not know what the creator of the universe knows. He knows all. He doesn't tell us, but he knows all. And he controls all. Everything comes from Hashem. We talked about this many times. And it's all for the best, and it all has a purpose. So what he does is for the best. So when you have an illness, God forbid. When we have an illness, God forbid we say to Hashem, cure me. And there's really nothing wrong with that. But we tell him how to do it. If I could only have this, if I could only do that, if I could be this, if I could be well, if my legs would work. We don't know what the next step is in the process. We don't know that this isn't a kapara for something we've done in the past, which will totally clean us up and give us a totally open field running for the rest of the game. We don't know this. So sometimes what we ask for is not what's for our best. May I make a suggestion, please? When you talk to Hashem, don't tell him how to do his job. He knows ways that you can't even imagine, ways that we can't even think of. We can't even comprehend some of these ways as to what it is he wants. So we need to ask with a more open idea. Hashem, please give me guidance. Hashem, please give me clarity. Help me with the situation because I don't know what to do, and you are my only hope. The ultimate statement of emunah. Try it the next time you have something that is a problem, a challenge for you. This is what you want to ask for. You want to ask for the help, but you want the help that Hashem wants to give you. Why tie his hands? Let him, who knows all the possibilities, give you what's best for you. Maybe he's getting you to the point where all you're doing at this point is building a kli, a container to accept a blessing. And that's what you're doing, and that's why you have to go through all this. You don't know that. I don't know that. He knows that. Ask him. Ask him for clarity. Ask him for guidance. Ask him for help, because he's the only one that can give you help. You can do all the ishtadlus in the world. At the end of the day, the solutions, the results are only up to him. So let him do his job. He loves you. You're his children. He wants to help you. So let him do what's best for you. Now, having said that, I want to wish you all a great week ahead, a great Shabbos at the end of this week. And I want to wish you the life that you deserve. A life of love, a life of joy, a life of fulfillment for you, for your children, for all of your people who are close to you, so that you can help to bring the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu and the building of the third Beit HaMikdash. B'mheir Yameinu Amen. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy.